Everybody there. We're going to continue with the growth of the Christian in faith. Luke 8:13. They on the rock, or they which, when they hear and receive with joy these, have no roots. We're talking about the word, which for a while believe in time of temptation fall away. This is temporary, people. It's temporary. They heard the word. They received the word with joy. But since it fell on a rock, it did have no roots. So whenever temptation comes their way, they fall away. Because there's nothing there to grasp to. There's nothing, no roots there to help them. Sometimes a believer doesn't get firmly established in the faith, so they give in to temptation. That's what usually happens. You don't get firmly rooted into the word. Temptation comes your way, you're going to fall. To keep people from falling away, it's to gather them on one-to-one basis, teach them and keep track of them. Every day they need you to be there. Because if you don't, on their own, they're not going to pick up the word and read it. They're not going to pray on their own. But if you're there with them, they will do it. That's what will keep a person from falling, People go to church every Sunday, every Wednesday, and they hear the word. They like what they heard, but when they leave, they forget it. But if somebody would help them, like right after the service, after Sunday, take them aside and read to them exactly what the preacher was preaching about. And then they will grasp a little bit more of what they heard, You have to take them into a one-on-one basis. That's the only way. Otherwise, they're not going to make it. James 2:19, thou believest that there is one God? Thou dost well. The devils also believe and they tremble. Receive knowledge of faith. Just believing in God is not sufficient for salvation. It is not true because demons believe it. But it is impossible for there to be saved. Saving faith requires more than just knowledge. Everybody knows the word. Everybody confesses that they know the word. They heard it and they know it. They understand it, but they're not saved. It takes a little bit further than that, than knowledge, to be saved. It includes trust and obedience. Well, that's something that people don't want to do. Faith without works is dead. That's what happened. Knowledge. It's not enough. That knowledge, you got to receive it, confess it, and live it. You have to live that. You have to, every day. That's the only way. When you wake up in the morning, wake up reading His Word. Pray. Now you're really getting into it. But if you just get up in the morning and leave and don't even thank God for giving you another day of life, picking up the Word and reading it and praying, you're going to have a hard time. You're going to have a hard time. James 2:17, even so faith, it has not works, is dead, being alone. Faith that does not produce works is not a saving faith, because faith that saves is never alone. Is faith not accompanied by works, it is dead. That's the bottom line. I mean, a lot of people say, well, I got faith, but they're not saved. Because they're not doing the work. Remember what I said there? Faith without works is dead. It's just like not having it. Although a lot of people confess that they have it. Luke 17:15, and the apostles said unto the Lord, increase our faith. Increase our faith. One's faith often increases as one steps out in trusting and being obedient. You will work yourself up to the measure of faith that the Lord has already placed in you. See, He's already placed the measure of faith that you need. All you have to do is act upon it. Put it to work. Put it to work. Because works is what makes faith perfect. That's another part of the Bible. That's what it says. But works is what makes it alive. Because without works, faith is dead. See, I'm going to give you an example. Just like you're looking for a job, and you called people, you talk to people, but you're sitting at home waiting for somebody to call you and tell you, come and work. It doesn't work that way. First of all, you call, you present yourself, and then you keep going back again. Go and tell them, hey, is there an opening still? I need to work. I can do it. That's the only way you will be fresh in people's mind. You're the one they need. But if you're sitting at home by the phone waiting to somebody to give you a job, it's not going to happen. Faith doesn't work that way. You're believing that you're going to receive a job sitting there. It ain't going to happen, because faith without works is dead. 2 Timothy 1:12, for the which cause I also suffer these things. Nevertheless, I am not ashamed, for I know whom I have believed, and am persuaded that he is able to keep that which I committed unto him against that day. Ain't that something? Paul wrote this. An assurance. Paul was confident that God would protect the gospel which was committed to him, or my soul that I have committed to him. Paul's boldness comes not from self-confidence, but from God confidence. So he was not ashamed of the gospel. We shouldn't be ashamed of the gospel. But a lot of times people don't want to speak about the gospel because what are people going to think of me? They're going to call you a holy roller or what? See, you have something people wish they had, but don't have, and that's salvation. Your name's written in the Lamb's book of life. It's written there. They don't have it. So you need to make sure that they get it. And that's what takes place of going to visit people, talking to people, making confession of Jesus Christ's love and care and merciful and forgiving God. That's the only way they'll know, if somebody would talk to them. But a lot of times people are not talking. We're keeping quiet because what are they going to think of me? You know, those are my friends, and I used to deal with them. Now I claim to be saved, and you're not saved if you're already talking that way. But anyway, faith without works is dead. So practice it. Put it to practice. When you wake up in the morning, pray. Say, Lord, put somebody in my path so I can deal with them, whether I can talk to them. And when he does, what are you going to do? Are you going to talk to them? Or are you going to just ignore it? See, a lot of times people come to you and they're asking questions about God and everything, and you don't even answer them because you're ashamed to do it. But see that God has sent that person to you. Didn't you know that? God sent that person to you so you can deal with him about his salvation, his forgiveness, you know. But if we don't do that, we're not doing our job out there. Not even yourself, you're saved. But anyway, we've been dealing with the growth of a Christian by faith. Everybody be out there blessed in the name of Jesus.